Hello everybody, welcome back to the Spoked Wheel YouTube channel. Today we're back with episode 16 of the Journey of Andy Schleck 2.0. Today we have a couple more races on the calendar. We're going to start with a one-day race in Guatemala, and then we will do the first two stages of the Tour of Bulgaria to get to our usual three races. Yeah, so not really a lot to say other than that. We're kind of getting towards the real serious part of the season. We have a couple really exciting races coming up, but until then we're just gonna get into the races and keep progressing along. Alright, so we're underway at our first race of the day in Guatemala, and our team has us as the leader for this race. They want us to try and finish in the top 3 on today's race, which actually makes a lot of sense because the pre-race magazine had us as the third favorite on the race as well. And funnily enough, we were the third favorite after 2 riders for that Kamata Extra cycling team, which is the team that we're thinking about trying to sign for next season. So this might be a good opportunity to have a look at some of our future teammates if that plan ends up working out. But in terms of the race itself, decent amount of climbing. These climbs here in the middle, very steep, so those will probably take a toll on some of the riders who aren't quite as good going uphill. And then sort of this whole finishing block, there's that one really steep climb, then it's sort of up and down at various points, and then another little launch pad right towards the line. So if any moves go in that point, we want to keep an eye out and try and be in the right position, but we also need to make sure that we keep some energy in the tank for that final little ramp up to the line, because that should pretty much decide who wins the race today. We are now on the final ascent of this really steep climb for the day. It had done a lot of damage on the previous times that we took it on. The group was actually down to, I think, 18 riders at one point. A couple riders have gotten back on by now, but I would expect there to be pretty big splits up over this climb as well. And then we'll just kind of see what the group looks like at the top. We're probably going to be without any teammates, although Heidemann might hang on here, it looks like. But we'll see what the group looks like at the top, and then we'll start getting ready for that final climb here. So we're back down to 19 riders at the minute. Let's see, do we have a teammate in it? Yeah, we do. So one of our teammates, Heidemann, made it up over the final ascent of that climb, but got some strong riders in here. Darwin out of Puma, rode in the World Tour for a while for BMC when they were still around. Looks like he has a teammate here as well who's going to set pace for us to try and keep things together. So it looks like at this stage that the winner is going to come from this group of 17 riders. We got Oscar Sevilla as well. He just won, I believe, no, his teammate won a stage of the Tour of Rwanda, but he's riding there, I believe. Yeah, so I think, like I said, the winner's going to come from this group of 17, so let's just try and stay in a good position and make sure we're in the right move when it happens. We're heading towards the finishing climb now with 5.5 kilometers to go. I'm on the wheel of this guy, Dina, who is riding for Kamata Extra cycling team and was one of the pre-race favorites, I believe. There's one rider who made a late move. He looks to be out of energy, but there's also not really anyone chasing at this point, so I think he's probably going to be brought back on the climb here. I would guess Dina or someone else will make a move once we get onto the climb, so that's why I'm on his wheel. Hopefully if he does make a move, I'll be able to follow him and we'll be in a good position. Although at the moment, not really too much happening, so let's actually try making a move ourselves here inside of 2 kilometers to go. I completely forgot to use my energy gel. Let's stick it on 85 effort. We have a bit of a gap here as we head towards the final kilometer. That might have actually been perfect timing. I think we're gonna probably take the win on this one. The gap's 43 seconds. Doesn't look like anyone is chasing us down. So there's another victory here for Andy Schleck in Guatemala. And we'll also, I think, get extra XP points because our team wanted us to finish in the top 3. So we did technically finish in the top 3, but we overachieved as well because we won the race. We're underway now in the first stage of the Tour of Bulgaria. Our team has us as the overall GC leader. They want us to finish first on GC after this stage, which probably not going to happen based on how flat that finish looks, but I do think it is an attainable goal to win the race overall given the amount of climbing in some of the later stages. This is the first of 2 stages we'll play in Bulgaria in this video. Both of those 2 are relatively flat. The climbing comes more in stages 3 and 4, I think, if I remember correctly. But I think we're in a pretty good position to try and win this race overall. It's good timing that we're starting to win a bit more regularly now with Andy Schleck, really for 3 main reasons. First one is winning races is going to give us more XP, so hopefully we'll be able to level up and upgrade our attributes at least a couple more times before this season ends. The second is that by winning, the teams that are already interested in us are going to become more interested in offering us a contract. So hopefully that means we'll get more attractive and appealing offers from teams who are on the verge of hopefully getting promoted to Pro Continental. And then third, it means that us personally as a rider, we earn more points that then will help whatever team we sign for get promoted, because that's how this game works basically. So the riders earn points throughout the season, and then the teams with the most points based on who they have under contract either get promoted to the next division or stay in the division they're in. So by winning right now, we can actually help the team that we end up signing for actually be in a better place next season, regardless of what they're doing right now. So it's good timing, sort of towards the end of July now that we're starting to win more regularly, and hopefully we can keep that trend going as the Tour of Bulgaria unfolds. We are inside of the last 5 kilometers now in stage 1 of the Tour of Bulgaria. We're following the wheel of our old friend Anelkowski here, just to try and finish as high up in the sprint as we can. Probably not gonna get any bonus seconds or win or anything like that, but the higher up we finish, the better, I think, just to keep ourselves in a good spot. We did actually crash at one point earlier on in this stage, but we were able to catch back up and hopefully avoid losing any significant time to anyone. A lot of bends in the final kilometer here, but looks like we might even get 4th or 5th here. 4th place for Andy Schleck, so that's pretty solid. Those twists and turns in the final kilometer definitely played into our hand because we were out of our red energy bar was completely done by the time we got there, so that slowed things down a little bit and allowed us to have a pretty solid finish in 4th place. We're into stage 2 here in the Tour of Bulgaria. We are wearing the white jersey as the best young rider, even though we're currently 3rd place in the classification, so the 2 riders ahead of us are leading other classifications, I guess. So once again, our team wants us to finish top of the overall GC, and we actually have a little bit of an opportunity here because that final category 2 climb looks like it could provide a chance to attack, and then there's a lot of descending down towards the finish, so we're going to try and go on the offensive there on that final climb and see if we can get a big enough gap to stay away on the descent. It's a shorter race, only 93 kilometers, so right now we only have 87 kilometers to go. So should be an interesting one. We'll see. It's going to be important to keep the breakaway in check because there's not a ton of distance in the race to bring them back if they get a big gap. So hopefully the other teams will take that responsibility and limit their advantage, and then ideally we will be able to capitalize by putting in a late attack, and we'll see what happens. We are heading towards the final climb here as we go inside the last 10 kilometers. We're in a pretty good spot here. With 1.9 to go to the summit, let's attack and see if anyone can go with us. It does look like a few riders are trying, but 1 kilometer to the summit now. Let's keep the attack going. The gradients are getting a little bit steeper. We have the blinking red bar, so that's perfect timing for that. And looks like we're going to drop pretty much everyone except for this one rider here up over the top. So let's keep the pressure on, put it on relay. We got a decent gap over the rest of the field. Not sure if this guy is going to work with us or not. Looks like he is going to be willing to do so, but we're on a pretty long descent towards the finish, so I think we're in a good spot to take time on a lot of riders in this race, pretty much everyone besides this one guy who's with us. Now it looks like he's changed his tactics, just sitting on our wheel, which is understandable. I'd probably do the same thing, but let's open up the sprint as we go inside the final kilometer. He's going to have the energy to come around and take the victory, but we're going to finish second on the stage. Here comes a group of 3 to round out the top 5, and that's definitely a bit of a gap back to everyone else. So we weren't quite able to capitalize and win the stage, but we should take some time on a lot of riders who will be our competition for overall victory. So the first 5 finishers on the stage were all given the same time, with then a 28-second gap to everyone else who finished in this big group. 56 seconds back to everyone finishing 28th and further back. What that does for the GC is it means we've moved up from 4th to 2nd. So this guy, Vicente Garcia de Mateos, who beat us for the stage win, moves into the overall lead, but we are 2nd, just 4 seconds back of him. And then Bernas, the Polish sort of sprinter, he's usually up there for sprints. It says he's a Barador, but I've seen him compete for some sprints. Either way, he's in 3rd. We do have the best young riders classification firmly in our grasp now, so that's pretty solid. Didn't quite take the stage win, but I think that's a pretty successful outcome for stage 2. That's going to be it for the racing in this video, so next time around we will have stages 3, 4, and 5. As you can see from the profiles, particularly with stage 4, they're going to be pretty decisive. I think this one with that pretty sizable final climb is going to be where the race is decided, and it should play nicely into our abilities because I'd imagine we're the best. We have the best mountain rating in the race. And then the final stage, stage 5, will be just a short, flat one, so whatever the situation is after stage 4 should more or less stay the same on stage 5. So I think we're in a pretty good spot after 2 stages to try and take the overall win. I can't really see anyone matching us on stage 4, so hopefully we'll be able to capitalize and win this race and add another victory to our list, which is now growing a little bit quicker than before. And if we do so, I'd imagine that will be more than enough to take us up into the next level. So we will once again be able to upgrade our attributes, which is very good. But thanks as always for watching. I appreciate your support. I'll be back soon with the next episode, so see you next time.